We have here the LAB71 Cannondale Super 6 Evo in a size 51, weighing at 16 pounds 9 ounces, and in kilos 7.53 kilos. Bottle cages, pedals, and also Garmin mount. Stay tuned to after video where free buy sun test on those Chris Kings right there. Then we have here the 2024 Specialized Tarmac S-Works SL8 in a size 52 in the Project Black Edition with pedals, cages, and Garmin mount, weighing at 15 pounds 15 ounces. And in kilos, 7.23 kilos. Stay tuned to after video. We're here free buy sun test on those Revolve Rapide wheels right there. All right, everybody. Today we have two of the bikes you guys have been asking me the most questions about: the Cannondale Super 6 Evo LAB71 versus the Tarmac SL8, and this is the S-Works model in the Project Black. This is owned by one individual, and he has the pleasure of being able to ride both. They're both similar sizes. The Cannondale LAB71 being a 51, the Tarmac S-Works SL8 being a 52. Exact same setup in the stem and handlebar configuration, and he's had about a couple hundred to 1,000 miles on both bikes. So in today's video, we're going to go over what the differences are between these two bikes, talk about which one at the end of it might be the better buy for you, and then also we'll get his intake on, or his take on what bike he feels performs better, and also in terms of comfortability, and also price point at the end of it for the both builds, just for laughs in there. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, so before we get into anything, let's talk about the models. You have the Cannondale LAB71, the Super 6 Evo. This bicycle was just released this year. It is the newest revamp of the Super 6 Evo lineup. This is Cannondale's dedicated climbing bike, but then they added aero qualities to the bicycle. So before, the last year's Super 6 Evo model used to have a much skinnier frame tubes on here, not as much aero capabilities, and a lot more proprietary parts. With the Cannondale LAB71, what they did now on the new Super 6 Evo, they ran the cables internally through the head tube, so no more in front of the bicycle. So now they're ran into the bearings. They changed the bottom bracket to be a normal BSA threaded BB, so it's very easy for consumers to get work done by not a Cannondale dealer. They added the aero qualities to the back where the LAB71 is, and also on the front fork as well. And then what everyone kind of seems to be wanting is the proprietary Momo design handlebar that fits very well with this bicycle. This is teamed up by Momo Design. Looks really good. The carbon weave on here is different than a lot of other carbon weaves on there, so I definitely think it looks really good. But yes, so they basically took their all-out climbing bike. They made it super lightweight. Beforehand, the Cannondale Super 6 Evo used to only come in the high mod, which was their highest tier carbon they made now. Now this LAB71 is actually above that, and this frame set goes for $6,000. The complete bike is $15,000, but we'll talk about the price on that later on. With this, the LAB71, what they said the difference is that this frame is the lightest frame that they can make. It's going to be the lightest material out there for their carbon fiber frames. This is the most race-ready frame they offer. It's 770 grams and a 56 painted, and which is pretty lightweight. That was the lightest weight production bike out there when this bike got released, but then the predecessor over here, the Tarmac SL8, came out, and we'll talk about their weights in just a second. So this was everything that Cannondale changed this model right here. And then we'll jump over to the Specialized Tarmac SL8, and we'll tell you the differences on this bicycle. Tire clearance on here is 700 by 30C, but they said that you have options for 6 mils of clearance on both sides. So there have been some pictures that we've seen with someone having 34s on here. It looks like it can fit 32 comfortably, very comfortably on the front fork. Obviously, it's about the rear stays in the back. But yes, right now he's running 28s in there, and I don't think that would be the issue for it. But they give you the option of 30s on there. Now for the Tarmac SL8s, they came out with this bicycle. This is the bicycle that went ahead and came out to make the SL7 even better. This is still Specialized's all-around bike, but it was their climbing bike at one point. But now this bicycle, they marketed it as more aerodynamic than the Venge. So this bicycle is not only lighter weight than the Tarmac SL7, but now it's more aerodynamic than the Venge as well. So you have a climbing bike that is stupid lightweight with aerodynamics that can beat any other company's flagship aero bike out there of what they're claiming. With this, they kept the geometry exactly the same of what the Tarmac SL7 is. They kept the bottom bracket the same as a threaded BB. Tire width and tire size on here can go up to a 700 by 32C on here. They have their own Revolve proprietary Rapide handlebar that's very hard to find. And a lot of people say that these aero claims that they're making stem right from this handlebar himself with their own proprietary bar, which is nice. And then also, like I said, in terms of the frame weight, this is where it gets good. Specialized went ahead and released their ready-to-paint frame in a size 54 at 680 grams, so beating the Cannondale LAB71 by close to 100 grams just on frame alone. Now, Cannondale's paint well, or Cannondale's frame, what they weighed was a 56 and it was painted. The numbers we got from Specialized were 680 grams and a ready to paint, a all raw carbon frame. So I'm sure if you had some paint on there, they'd probably be very close in similarities. But as you guys saw, this is a size 52, that's a size 51, and that's pretty much a full pound difference in terms of bicycles. There are different components, which we'll go over in just a second, but both bikes are very nice. I will say, just from whatever both companies are saying, Cannondale does still have a System 6 dedicated aero bike, and they kind of advertise that as the aero bike. This bicycle is a great all-rounder bike, and it has options for to be an aero bike as well. But with the Tarmac over here, they basically said this is a bicycle. This is the one bicycle you need in your quiver. It can do everything. It can out-ride an aero bike on flat grounds. It can out-climb a climbing bike in the mountains. So we'll get the riders' point of view on which bicycle does better down the road. But now we'll go over component specs on both bikes. Okay, so now for the product differences up here. The customer tried to keep both bikes exactly the same. He has the same exact Dura-Ace group sets on there. He has the Stages power meter on both bikes, the same exact look Keo pedals on there as well. But obviously these bicycles are sold with their own kind of like their proprietary one-piece bars on here. So starting off over here, this SL8 is paired very well with the Revol Rapide handlebar that just came out. It's a one-piece. It's a 90 millimeter bar by 380 width, and it has their own Revol out front stem. Going down to the wheels as well, these are different wheels of what's on the LAB71. These are the Revol Rapide CLX2 wheel set. These ones are a $2,800 wheel set, a 50 millimeter deep dish wheel in the front, a 60 millimeter deep dish wheel in the back, and they do come equipped with ceramic bearings inside, a DT Swiss 180 internal. For this bicycle is still lighter weight, but it does have heavier rotors. It has a 160 millimeter rotor in the front and a 140 millimeter rotor in the rear for Shimano, whereas on the Cannondale LAB71 over there, he has a 140-140 combination, which is very normal down here in Florida. We try to shave weight everywhere we can, and you'll see a lot of people down here having a 140-140. For the bottle cages, we have on here the sworks water bottle cages, whereas the LAB71 has their own proprietary wind tunnel designed water bottle holders, and they even give you water bottles inside there. I've got to play with them. I've got to see them. They look kind of awkward. But again, I think it's nice. It's a nice little niche item to go with the bicycle to make it personable. Yeah, they're definitely more aerodynamic because they don't protrude out, but it's a weird rectangle shape to go ahead and squeeze, but I do like it. Hopefully down the road they'll release maybe a Momo design collaboration in carbon fiber with these things. That'd be really badass, but there is a difference there. And then for the crank as well, this could be where some majority of the weight is, and the difference of the two of them as well. The carbon tie chain rings of carbon fiber are swapped out on this bicycle, whereas on the LAB71 they have the regular stock Dura-Ace chain rings. Pedals are exactly the same. The cranks are exactly the same. And then for the carbon fiber, basically what this is 12R Road, which is S-Works top tier carbon fiber by Specialized. Cannondale will claim that the high mod carbon fiber is comparable to S-Works. That's what Cannondale says. The LAB71 carbon fiber is one step above the S-Works carbon. That's what they're going ahead and saying on there to be the lightest and best flagship carbon fiber out on the bicycle. They both have drop seat stays. They both have aero seat posts. They both have proprietary seat posts as well. The battery, where this goes inside the bicycle, is inside the seat post, so a little bit easier to get off while traveling. Actually, no. To be honest with you, it'll probably be the same because you can unplug the cables right here, but on this one, you don't even have to worry about it. If you have to take off the seat post, you just mark it, and the cables are stuck inside the battery, so not too bad. I've heard stories in the past of other people with down tube batteries inside the down tube of the frame on the bicycle, that sometimes the water from riding in the rain or wet conditions can seep in there and get to the battery, but that one's pretty much housed really well. But that is just something to keep in mind. Both bottom brackets are completely the same. They're both BSA threaded with a 68 millimeter shell on there. They're both ceramic speed, I believe. Yep, both ceramic speed on there. So that is nice. For the cassette and chain, this chain is a XTR chain 12 speed Dura-Ace, whereas the gold one over there, I believe, is going to be a KMC 12 speed on there, just to add nice little touches that match the LAB71. No one can really say that LAB71 is a bad looking bike. It is one of the most aesthetically pleasing bikes out there, especially with those little gold touches on there. But that chain is different weight. And then for the cassette, it's 1130, and then both the exact same derailleurs, just with different color choice for the OSPW. This one has a limited edition white Cerakoted OSPW on here, just because the pulley wheels are Cerakoted in a white color, and that one has the OSPW in the gold color over there, just as a standard, but really no weight difference on there. Tires are the same width They are 700 by 28C. These are the Corsa Pro to kind of give you that pro look. And over here, these are the Grand Prix Continental 5000 STRs. Again, it's 700 by 28C. But you can definitely see here on these Princeton Dual 5550s, they do give this 28 a little bit more of a bulge on there. So it probably adds to a little bit more of a comfortable ride, which is very nice. Saddles are exactly the same. Specialized S-Works Power 143 mirror on here as well. Now that we went through the differences of both bicycles to kind of get an idea of what is the difference between the weight of them, like I said, about a good solid pound, which is pretty crazy for climbing bikes, we will talk about pricing, because obviously that's going to play a huge part in what you do whenever you go ahead and buy these bicycles. So Cannondale has a really competitive and aggressive lineup for the Super 6 Evos at their kind of entry level. They have a $5,500 Cannondale Super 6 Evo with Ultegra Di2, their own R45 wheels, and a carbon fiber revision bar for $5,500, which literally blows the doors. That almost beats out Canyon as well for those prices. I think it does. It's actually cheaper than Canyon's bicycles. So Cannondale has incredibly competitive prices in terms of their their Super 6 Evo base model to mid-tier range level. Where it kind of gets a little bit weird is their retail for their Cannondale LAB71 complete bicycle. This is obviously a frame set build, but their complete bicycle is $15,000. Yes, you get the Momo design handlebar, you get their LAB71 frame, but you get their stock wheels, which are the R50 hologram wheels, just a 50mm deep dish wheel with a their own hologram hub, but it's basically DT Swiss 240 internal, so not even ceramic bearings. And also, there's no power meter on that bike for $15,000, which is pretty steep. The frame set, on the other hand, this bicycle right here, this frame set retails for around $6,000. So it is still a little bit higher than the price tag of the SL8, which we'll talk about in just a second. But I bet your bottom dollar, I don't even know why I said that, I guarantee you can probably build up this frame set for under 15 grand. So if you work with your bike shop, you're able to get a group set, the wheels you want, the Momo design handlebar, easily you can get this thing under 15 grand and pick out the color frame you want, pick out what kind of gearing you want, chairings you want. Unless you're just really in a hurry. What we're starting to see now is we're only seeing companies do their complete build-up in bikes in specific colorways. So that way you're kind of forced into buying that bicycle if you like that color. But definitely, this one's, I'm retailing this thing $6 grand, bar's about 600 bucks, group set will call it $400 or $4,000. The OSPW and ceramic speed about $1,000, and the wheels as well. I believe they're around like 2,800 bucks, 3 grand. So it's definitely under that price tag of 15 grand. And if you work with a bicycle shop, I'm sure you can get even lower than that. Whereas if you go over here to the Tarmac S-Works level, I will say this. For their Tarmac SL8s, their starting price point of the SL8 Expert, which is a rival group set bicycle with Revolve C38 wheels for $6,500, it's not making anyone turn their heads quickly. We are still selling them pretty well. But I will say that there are a ton of other companies out there that have competitive price points, like the Trek Madones I did recently with the SL7s with Ultegra for $6,500 bucks. Trek Madone for $5,500. The Cannondale Super 6 Evo I just said for $5,500 with the Ultegra Di2. Specialized needs to get a little bit better competitive pricing with the entry-level SL8s as well. Their pro-level bicycles around the $8,500 mark are pretty much dead on with what the other markets are charging. Now, where it comes into play here, you have their S-Works top line model with a complete bicycle. That'll be 14 grand. With that 14 grand, you will get a 4-eye power meter. You get a one-piece bar and stem. You get these exact same wheels. So you're getting for $1,000 cheaper than the LAB71 with a power meter with ceramic bearings inside the wheels, which is, in hindsight, a better deal there. But also what you can even do here is that these frame sets, the Specialized S-Works SL8 frame sets, are $5,500, $500 cheaper than their counterpart of the LAB71. So again, usually people that are splurging for these bicycles, $500, it's not a drop in the bucket, but you know, if they're already spending the $600 or $5,500 bucks, they're usually going to pay for what they want. But it is nice to maybe say, hey, I can save that $500 bucks and get a OSPW, or hey, I can save that $500 bucks and put it towards my rest of my build. But yeah, I definitely think that you can definitely build up a complete bicycle as well with S-Works underneath that 14K price tag as well. So I definitely will say, in the terms of price point wise, Specialized has a little bit of an edge on there, just by a marginal bit. So it's not that much. Both bicycles only are included frame. They do not come with stem or handlebar anymore. So they're only frame sets and seat posts. That's all you get whenever you buy the frame set. So this frame set is $5,500 bucks. that frame set over there is $6,000 without a stem or seat post on there, or without a stem and handlebar. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys think between the two of these bicycles. Are you pro Cannondale LAB71 or are you pro Specialized Tarmac SL8? Which one would you guys judge? Thank you guys. All right, so now before we get into the video, I'm going to give you guys the rider of these two bicycles, his take on these two bicycles. We're going to ask him a couple questions. One, which bicycle do you think performs better in terms of speed? Two, we're going to say which one does he think is more comfortable? And three, if he could only choose one between these two bikes and he had to part way with one bike, which bike would he make his forever bike for right now? So I'm going to hand the mic over to Roland, and he will be able to go ahead and give us his take. So out of these two bicycles, which one performs better to you personally?
Being your average punter, so I'm an average Joe. I'm not exactly a weapon of speed on the bike. I do think that there are aspects of the SL8 that perform better than the LAB71. I think the SL8 holds its speed really well in a bunch ride versus the LAB, but I would say the LAB I guess has a snappier start to it. So in the initial rollout, you know, keeping up with the bunch when everybody's getting out of the saddle and trying to ride hard, it's going to pick up speed faster. But once you're going at speed, I think the SL8 does a really good job of holding speed and holding a wheel.
Okay, that's perfect. That's a really good take. And keep in mind, guys, this is Florida. We are flat. If I do 40 miles, my Strava ride only says I climbed 200 feet. And also unbiased, he has not bought any bicycles from me and not has bought any parts from me as well. He is just a friend or a fan of the channel that we've been talking kind of back and forth, and he has the luxury to own both these bicycles, and he was very kind to come on by to do this video. So next question is, between the Tarmac S-Works SL8 and the Cannondale LAB71, again, your personal preference, which one do you find more comfortable?
So here I think the LAB71 is a little bit more comfortable, especially for a longer ride. It, I think, is almost assuredly from the fact that it's rocking the dual 5550s with 28s from GP. And when you put the 28s on there, it plumps it up to around 30. So I think that extra that extra width in the wheel really makes a difference in terms of comfort. I'm able to ride it at like 10 or 15 PSI lower than I am on the SL8. So I think just, you know, with respect to that, when you're in a longer ride, the vibration over time is just gonna, you know, beat you up. I think if I put 30s on the SL8, it'd probably be a similar comfort level. But yeah, I have to give this one this slight edge to the LAB.
Perfect. That's great information there. Very, very good information. All right, again, very useful information, and this is a real-world riding test. And like I said, these are all his opinions, his preference to the bicycles and how he has them set up. But again, the fits are almost identical in that matter, so he has a good feel to these bicycles. And last question, if you can only choose one for the rest of the bicycle eternity, which one would you choose to own forever? The Tarmac S-Works SL8 or the Cannondale LAB71?
So this would be definitely a tough choice, but I think the SL8 would edge out the LAB71. Just the pedigree of the SL8, the way it rides. You know, I had the SL7 before a while ago, and I wanted to get back to it. So the SL8, they've done a great job of making the bike more comfortable than the SL7, even though the Cannondale, I think, ultimately is a little bit more comfortable. But for those long rides, I mean, just the look and style and feel of the SL8, it's beautiful. What I would do is probably take those Chris King Hub Princeton Carbon Works wheels and swap them onto the SL8 before I had to get rid of the LAB71. But other than that, I think in terms of a bike itself, the SL8 would be my forever bike if I had one.
Perfect. All right, guys, just the way I paid him. I got him under the table to say that.
You didn't pay me.
Yeah, no, but it's great information, like I said. And obviously it comes down to personal preference. I'm sure I have a ton of people in this video or in the comments as well that probably would choose a LAB71 over this bicycle. This sport always comes down to preference. And at the end of the day, pick the bicycle that you enjoy looking at, enjoy riding the most, because it's going to make you get out there and ride more. But I can't thank Roland enough for coming down here and doing this video. Big shout out to him. I will link his Instagram if he wants to be. It's up to him to keep his privacy or not. But very cool for him to come down here and show these two bicycles to you guys. And thank you guys to all for watching. I will have a free buy sound check on both these wheels, and hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of the video. All right, here comes a free buy sound test on these dual 5550s with the Chris King hub and ceramic bearings on the LAB71. Beautiful. All right, next up is the SL8. All right, and then we have the Roval Rapide CLX2s with the Roval hub and DT Swiss 180 internals. Here comes the free buy sound test on this wheel right here. Very nice. All right, guys, that's going to do this for the video. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.